Hi, I'm Brooke, and welcome to another Brooke review. So today I am reviewing The Help by Kathryn Stockett, and I'm really excited to do this Brooke review. I've been waiting all week to videotape it, and I cannot wait to share it with you, especially while the book is so popular. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of this book, have seen the movie. Right now it's like a worldwide phenomenon, and it really is a brilliant book. And that's why I couldn't wait to do a Brooke review on it, but we will get into the details. So, it was written by Kathryn Stockett, and the genre is historical fiction. The age group for this book would definitely be young adult, possibly a little bit older than that, just because it's probably not suitable for younger readers. The Help addresses some very sensitive topics concerning racial issues, some very harsh, a couple of topics that could be really scary, a little bit, I don't know exactly the word to describe it. For younger readers, they wouldn't understand. They would not understand what would be what's going on in a couple of parts. So, and also language. Language is another big thing about this book. Words not suitable for younger readers are written, but the book is really fantastic, and I'm going to give you a brief description as well as read the inside cover. So, 3 ordinary women are about to take one extraordinary step. 22-year-old Skeeter has just returned home after graduating from Ole Miss. She may have a degree, but it is 1962, Mississippi, and her mother will not be happy till Skeeter has a ring on her finger. Skeeter would normally find solace with her beloved maid Constantine, the woman who raised her, but Constantine has disappeared, and no one will tell Skeeter where she is gone. Abilene is a black maid, a wise, regal woman raising her 17th white child. Something has shifted inside her after the loss of her own son, who died while his bosses looked the other way. She's devoted to the little girl she looks after, though she knows both their hearts may be broken. Minnie, Abilene's best friend, is short, fat, and perhaps the sassiest woman in Mississippi. She can cook like nobody's business, but she can't mind her tongue, so she's lost yet another job. Minnie finally finds a position working for someone too new to town to know her reputation, but her new boss has secrets of her own. Seemingly as different from one another as can be, these women will nonetheless come together for a clandestine project that will put them all at risk. And why? Because they are suffocating within the lines that define their town and their times, and sometimes lines are made to be crossed. In pitch-perfect tones, Kathryn Stockett creates 3 extraordinary women whose determination to start a movement of their own forever changes a town and the way women, mothers, daughters, caregivers, friends view one another. A deeply moving novel filled with poignancy, humor, and hope. The Help is a timeless and universal story about the lines we abide by and the ones we don't. So here's a little bit more, this is my description of the book. The Help is about 3 very different women who form an unlikely bond and come together to write a book that will change their lives. Skeeter, we read a little bit about her in the description. Skeeter is a young woman who has a passion for writing and a very truthful, sincere personality. She wants to write about something that bothers her. She wants her writing to stand out, and she actually wants to move to New York to become a journalist. And this woman from New York tells her to write about something that bothers her. And she realizes that what bothers her is the social classes in her town of Jackson, Mississippi. And so with the help of Abilene and Minnie, 2 African-American maids in Jackson, Mississippi, Skeeter puts together a book of interviews describing the lives of white women's maids. And this is why the book's a little, maybe not suitable for younger readers. It addresses a lot of racial issues, it's actually very cruel the way that these white women treated their maids who raised their children and who did all of the cooking and cleaning and cared for them in times of need and provided. They woke up every morning and arrived to work and bit back their tongues and or bit back their words, and were very selfless people who came to serve these women, these white women. And now not all of them were the same way. In the book you meet several different characters. Aibileen works for a woman named Elizabeth, and Elizabeth, you can tell, does not even care about her own child. She has no use for her daughter, and she wants to fit in with all of the other ladies in her society. Then there's also Hilly, who is Elizabeth's best friend, and Hilly is extremely cruel. She is very selfish, and she's a terrible character. You really, really hate her. But she's a funny character, and she adds flavor to the book, a different, another level to the book. And then you have the three main characters, and the book is actually told from their three perspectives. The book begins and ends with the perspective of Aibileen, who's also a writer in her own way, and it goes from Aibileen to Skeeter, or Aibileen, Minnie, and Skeeter. And these three women tell their story, and I love the passage of time, and I think I'm kind of getting into my pros and cons of this book. My opinion of this book was that it was absolutely amazing. What I love reading books that are different, that are not the same old, you know, princess or romantic story, you know. Although I love those kind of cliche topics, I also love a book that can use those topics and kind of twist them and create something new. And that's what The Help does. The Help is a truly beautiful book. It's inspiring. It is hilarious. It is so funny. It made me, I mean, I am being completely truthful here. I laughed and I cried in equal amounts. I would laugh hysterically. And actually what's kind of cool about this book was my mom and I read maybe the last half of the book together. I had a bad sore throat the other weekend when I was reading it, and my mom read to me, and then I read to her, because then she got my sore throat. So, and we both, oh my goodness, we cracked up. We just laughed hysterically. And then toward the end of the book, I was in my Latin class, and I nearly cried. I was sitting there and I read up until the bell rang, and my eyes got misty, and I was totally in my own little world walking out of class because I was so, I'd finished the book and I was like so moved. So that's how I feel when I finish a book, and this one really did make me cry. So, and I can't tell you why. I mean, parts of the book were very sad, especially the way that these women were treated, and some other personal secrets. In the description that I read from the book, it describes that Minnie's new employer has her own secrets, and she's a very different character because she's not like all of the other women. She treats Minnie with respect, and she admires her, and she treats her like a friend, like an equal. But she also has her own issues, and Minnie kind of helps her. They help each other grow. And I thought reading through, it was very, very interesting to see both of these women grow to kind of love each other. They have a love for one another. So going into my pros, I said that what I love are the three perspectives of the book. So you get to read from Aibileen and Minnie's perspective, being maids. You also get to read Skeeter's perspective, and she is a white woman who had a maid of her own, and this maid raised her. So you see that perspective as well, and what she thinks of these other women who are who she used to think were like her, who used to be her best friends. And that's what's so interesting. The passage of time I mentioned before, the book covers a span of 2 years. It takes them 2 years to write and finish this book. I love the characters and their relationships. The characters have an incredible depth. I feel like I know these women. and you can see yourself in these characters, and that's a sign of an amazing author. I love the sincerity of the book. I don't think I've ever read a book that's so truthful and sincere, and you know, you can really tell. That's what I think moves people to tears when they read this book. And also the humor. Oh my goodness. It was so funny. And I wish I could read you some of the funniest parts, but it would give certain things away, so I'm not. My only con was a little part of the ending. I felt like one of the characters' future, they were describing kind of, you know, tying up all the loose ends, and I didn't feel like her future is going to be what I kind of envisioned for her. But I think the author left it open kind of to your imagination, to your interpretation, and so that was interesting. And I actually want to read you the beginning paragraph of the book. I love the way this book begins. It's one of the best opening passages I think I've read in a book. So this is Abilene's perspective. This is chapter 1, August 1962. May Mobley was born on an early Sunday morning in August 1960. A church baby, we like to call it. Taking care of white babies? That's what I do, along with all the cooking and the cleaning. I done raised 17 kids in my lifetime. I know how to get them babies to sleep, stop crying, and go in the toilet bowl before they mamas even get out of bed in the morning. And that's kind of what a taste of what Abilene and Minnie's life is throughout this book. So that was the opening paragraph. That's the only passage I'm going to read out of this book. And I also want to talk a little bit about the movie. The Help is a movie, and I'm sure it will win all types of awards. It was fantastic. And I talked, in my Harry Potter book review, I talked about how Harry Potter is one of the only movie and book series I've read and watched that are, the movies are so close to the book. I mean, they make some mistakes. I'm not claiming that they're exactly perfect, but The Help was just the same. The movie, while I was reading, I actually made the mistake of going to the movie before I read the book, and when I was reading, I could, as I was reading, I picked out certain lines that I remembered from the movie. The entire first chapter is exactly the same as the movie, or nearly the same, and I thought that was great because the book has such a wonderful personality of its own that I think the movie would have completely ruined it had they changed the plot. Of course, there are some differences, and if you've read the book and seen the movie, you will know what they are, but they're not really that important. So I'd advise reading the book and going to see the movie because both were fantastic. My Brooke mark for this book is a 5 out of 5. If I make a video on my top 10 favorite books of all time, which is going to be really difficult, this book will definitely be on that list. Amazing book. Read it. Also, before I go, I have a couple of little things to talk about, and I'm sure this video is really long, but one, I know I haven't updated in a while, but I'm really striving to shoot videos per week and upload them at least once a week, so I hope I stick to that goal. Also, I am in the middle of reading the second book in the Fablehaven series, so I will be doing a book review on that as well. I might link the Fablehaven book review in the bottom bar. But thanks for watching, and make sure to check out my blog for more written book reviews, which is www.brookeharrison.com. So thanks for watching. Bye.